from Marcus's Academy. Thank you for joining me in today's tutorial on demand schedule stroke curve stroke function. So we are going to teach demand schedule, teach demand curve, and teach demand function. Now, demand schedule. There are two types of demand schedule. The first is an individual demand schedule, while the second is market demand schedule. Each of these shall be explained in turn. Now, we start with the individual demand schedule. A table that depicts the different quantities of a good purchased by a given buyer at different market prices, ceteris paribus, is called an individual demand schedule. What I'm trying to say is, in essence, is that an individual demand schedule is a table that shows the different quantities of a particular good bought by a given buyer at different market prices, all things being equal. A table given in the next page shows an individual demand schedule for a given good, say moi moi. The table here shows the individual demand schedule. We have two columns here, column 1, column 2. This one is price of moi moi in naira, where this is what quantity demanded of moi moi. This is the price, 6 naira, 5 naira, 4 naira, till 1 naira, showing that the price is falling, while quantity is what? Rising. Well, this is the case of what? Normal goods. It shows that at the price of 60 naira, the individual demanded 5 kg. When the price fell from 6 naira to 1 naira, the individual demander raised his quantity from 5 kg to what? 40 kg. Now, we have the market demand schedule. A market demand schedule is a table that shows the quantities of a good or service which all the buyers in the market would like to buy at various market prices. It is the sum of all the various amounts bought by all individual buyers at various prices. Suppose we have 3 individuals, say individual A, B, and C, in a market that demanded for such a good. Then the demand schedule for such a good is given in the table to be seen in our next page. This is the table for the market demand schedule. Given the table, we have 5 columns, column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4, column 5. The column 1 is that of the price per kg in local currency, naira. Column 2 represents the individual demand of what? In individual A. The same goes to column 3, which represents the quantity bought by what? In the individual B. The same thing to individual C. So, the 5th column now is our what? Market demand, which is derived actually by summing, taking the summation of what? Column 2, 3, and what? 4. That is, 5 plus 10 plus 20 is what? 35. The same goes to this, and so on. Actually, the relationship between the 1st column and the 5th column is the market demand schedule. It shows that when the price was 60 naira, or 6 naira, sorry, when the price is 6 naira, the market demand is 35. Mind you, all is being done in kg. When the price fell from 6 naira to 5 naira, the market demand rose from 35 naira to 35 kg to 60 kg. In the same way, when the price falls for up till 1 naira, the market demand rose from 60 kg or units to 180 units. Now we treat the demand curve. In our former tutorials, we have done things on change in quantity demanded and change in demand. Actually, we talked that change in quantity demanded is as a result of what? Price of the good in question. That happens for normal goods. Okay. Now, for demand curve. A demand curve is a curve that shows how much a buyer wishes to buy at different prices. A demand curve can also be defined as a geometrical or graphical presentation of the demand schedule. The data included in the individual demand schedule that was treated before will be used in the construction of the demand curve in the next page. The geometry here is the demand curve of an individual demander or consumer. We have our right angle triangle. We have our downward sloping demand curve, which slopes from left to right for normal goods. And at this juncture, we assume that the good is normal. We see the highest price, which is 6 naira, and the lowest quantity, which is what? 5 naira. So when this price fell from 6 naira to 1 naira, the quantity rose from 5 naira to what? 5 units or kg to 40 units or kg. This shows that when the price falls, the quantity demanded rises, and vice versa. This is the case of what? Normal goods. Lastly, we deal with the demand function. Don't get it twisted with what a function means, for I am here to teach you. In mathematics, a function shows the relationship between one dependent variable and one or more independent variables. So, demand function explains the functional relationship between demand and the factors that affect demand for a particular good. For instance, a functional relationship exists between two variables when a change in one variable is as a result of a change in the other variable. Now, we see the mathematical presentation or illustration of what? Demand function. Here we have q d sub x, that is q super d sub x equal to q of p sub x, comma, p sub s, comma, y sub d, where q super d sub x implies quantity demanded of good x. P sub x implies price of good x. P sub s implies price of related or substitute goods, while y sub d, which is the disposable income of the consumer, implies consumer's income. Thank you for watching. Hope you find this helpful. This video is made by Makasi Chinedu. Please do subscribe for more videos from Makasi's Academy. Below are a list of my contacts. Thank you.